Welcome everybody to the Just Jump In live stream. For those of you out there checking in, also checking in, let me know how the audio is. I've started with StreamYard. Streamlabs desktop. There's another one like it that I'll be trying as well. There's a lot more steps than StreamYard that you have to do. A little bit more management on this one. Still will allow for some flexibility. Have to deal with a bit more of a lag on the streaming. I'll have to figure out if I can get that any closer to the 20-second lag that I had with StreamYard. But right now this is good. There is video. So that's a good first step. And thank you, Brad. Welcome in. And hey, Gopher Girl, I thought you were taking a nap. Thanks for letting me know the audio is good. So we can certainly get started here with updates. And this week I've done a little bit less work because this is one of my weeks in the office. I have to do 3 weeks in our office every 6 months, and I've squeezed them all into July because I'm being, an old fuddy-duddy about driving in bad weather. So I signed up for this week, and then the last 2 weeks of July I'll be in the office, and that's it for full weeks in the office. There may be other occasions that I'll go in, but it does take a lot out of the day, and I don't quite get as much done. So what I was working on last show was the Eastern Car Works business observation car, and as you can see here, it's in more pieces than when I started. So let's just take another look at the directions here. Now, of course, the writing on here is super small. I don't know if you can see this, but I when I go through instructions on the models, I always check off what's done. I'm a list kind of guy, and I like that sort of thing. So, so you can see here, I'm getting, I'm moving through it. However, the way the instructions are written, they're written as if you know exactly what parts are, if you exactly how a rail car is set up. It's written as if you're a professional in the rail industry. So it takes some guesswork. The other issue for me is there aren't real good visuals. So the other piece of paper that comes with this is like an exploded diagram, which is good. It shows you everything, but you can tell this was not a picture. This was all drawn, and it's mostly representative. But what you lose in this is placement of things. So for instance, there's actually an arrow there showing where that step goes. If you didn't put together that was an arrow, it'd be a missing arrow. For this side here, it has this arrow that seems to go out here somewhere, but this actually goes towards the end of the car. So So not easy. The parts, though, they all look like they do on the sprue. So I did get started. I get the roof set up and glued together, and parts on that. I got the windows on here. These are bent because these window strips seem to be slightly shorter. They're spaced correctly on here, but they're parts of it where, or either maybe it contracted over time, but both of them are kind of bent up. Now, when I got the sides on, I was able to straighten them out. So I was good with that. However, the defining pieces here are, this is one end with the coupler pocket extending out with this piece here, and then the coupler pocket is under this flat area here with this ridge here. And I was trying to follow the directions plus this, and I ended up with this, with the 4 walls on, and this piece that goes on the inside, and ooh, you can smell the glue from opening this up. And this is this observation piece, and I got them in the wrong spots. So I had this on this end here when this should go here. So don't know exactly where I want it. And unfortunately, I don't know if you can see this, but how rough that is now. I could put some putty in there. This is an internal stability piece. It has enough of a floor to it that it can do its job without having to really do anything to that, but I could do something with putty. And I realized all this when I went to start getting the gates ready, which are supposed to go over on this side. So I tore everything out. So the next step is to clean the glue off of here, off of the edges here, and then out of this ridge in here to move forward again, and I might just do some of that tonight. So I went forwards then backwards again, but I officially have my instructions complete. Unfortunately, it makes it a hard thing to put together, but everybody's directions are different, and so you have to work with them. And if you have the expertise and you understand all this, it's not a problem because you'll get right through it. Let's see here. Also, let me know throughout if there's... Hey, Mike, welcome in. Nice to have you in here. Let me know if there are any issues with audio or video or anything, because I'm also testing quality from the equipment I have to the broadcast now. When I also have it on my cell phone, and I'm looking, and it looks pretty clear on there. It looks much clearer on my cell phone on the broadcast than it does on the broadcasting software that I'm using. So, Brad, what are you working on tonight or today? And Mike, are you have you made it any further in your new place in your cabin? Are you working on any model railroad stuff yet? So some of the other things I was working on is I put posts in most of the model rail groups that I belong to talk to them. This is an older version of this, but to talk to them and get opinions on whether I should put rivets or anything on here, whether how it should look, because I'm basing this on the flat car clinic, and it has, it has this setup with the beams, so it cuts into the sides. Now, if I'm following the prototype that I'm using for this, it has straight sides down, and it sort of covers the wheels, which is another thing, and I should go get the car as it is now. But the prevailing opinion is, basically, if you want the prototype, make it like the prototype. If you want to go strict clinic, then you probably have to put in stake pockets and stakes instead of these side supports, and have it a separate thing, and have the stakes hold up the car. So I decided to go with the go more towards the prototype. So what I did is I actually filled this back out. Basically, the way the program works, the CAD program works, is I had side rectangles, and I sliced off what I needed to slice off to match. Hi, Mom. Welcome in. Glad you're able to join us. I'm using new software, so let me know if anything's going bonkers on your end, related to the stream, not other things. So Brad's working on some scenery. When you say you're airbrushing scenery, are you like airbrushing like rock work and grass and things like that? Or are you airbrushing buildings, walls, things like that? So you have some work to do if you have kits to work on, like I'm doing. Try not to do what I do, where you glue it all together and then have to tear it apart. Heed my warning about directions. Nice. Helping with the property improvements. Grass and gravel areas. Cool. That's nice for like the gravel areas, because you really can control you can control the scene that way. So that's so I like that idea, and I didn't airbrush anything before, sorry if you can hear, I don't know if you can hear that, but I have the window open because of glue and stuff like that, and I don't have a fan going right now. So I never airbrushed scenery before, but when I did the diorama that I did for the convention, the 12 by 12, I found that the colors of the static grass and even the foliage from Woodland Scenics is too stark. and there was nothing worn to it or anything, and I started using an airbrush on that, and it came out really fantastic. So I really like that idea, and I'm going to continue to do that. And gravel areas, I can, I could see using it if you're trying to get spots of something that looks burnt, or dead, dead grass, things like that. So that's pretty cool. Something that, and let me know if you're getting any freezing, because when I'm looking at YouTube Studio, it seems to be freezing. Now I'm getting something. So I'm getting a warning that it is actually there are some issues with the streaming. I got to figure out when that's coming from YouTube Studio. So again, let me know on that. Okay, interesting. Anyway, so yeah, so it'll be good to see what's coming out of that, and Mike also, hey, very basic kits, you can still mess up and ask me how I know. I don't know how much I talked about this last time, but I made these jigs trying to make the ladders for because doing them on the printing them wasn't working, so I made these jigs where you fit that. Hey Nathan, welcome in. Nice to have you stopping by. So I have this jig where this is 04 by 04 styrene rod, and then I was gluing on these this brass wire, and it worked okay, but they didn't stay together well. So I'm gonna have to figure out another way to do that, maybe a different type of styrene. Not sure how I'm gonna do that, but part of that was making the jig. And then these little parts, let's see if you can see, these little parts are the brake components for the brakes that match what the kit says, what the clinic says to use for the flat car. So I went and found these and was able to print these decently. And to me, these have, when I think it's Details West was I probably don't even have the box anymore. I think it was, I'm probably very wrong, but it was one of the companies that makes all the small parts, and those were castings, and they wanted you to drill into these tiny castings, and I was not good at that. So I found the same components that somebody did. So this is not my design, this piece, but brake components can be commercial when we're talking about trying to merit and trying to get your AP certificate. and you're probably not going to see that real well either. Well, maybe there. It has holes in it to fit the wire, which would be very helpful. This has 3 holes. This has 2 where they're supposed to be, and this has 2. So I think that'll be easier than what I had to deal with the original cast parts. So I was gonna buy another set for this, but decided against that and found these parts since they can be commercial. Yeah. Hey Nathan, so what are you working on tonight? Are you just hanging with folks, or are you working on any specific projects? I don't think that I'll have the current printing that I'm doing is the underside, so I'm printing another one of these, but with the what is it, the O2 or the 0.2 millimeter nozzle, so it should come out better than this. This came out very nicely, but was the 04 nozzle. It takes doubly as long, and then I just so my next model, or my next version of this, will be me putting the parts together and printing a bunch of the parts separately. So I'm going to print this floor separately. This obviously I'm printing right now separately, and I'll still print the main 4 walls together for now. That'll be the longest print. I foresee that being with the O2 nozzle maybe 10 or 12 hours to print that. I don't know how much taking the floor off will be, but we shall see. Nathan, the reason I started my YouTube channel was to keep me on track doing the things that I'm doing for model railroading, the information that's out there. It's the method that's it's the method I learned from best. I was talking earlier in the stream about this kit that I'm working on, and how these directions are written like like you know all about trains, like you're an engineer or work on these cars, and I'm not, and I don't come from that. I'm more coming from the art of it, and so I learn everything basically from YouTube, and so that's why I like it. But I got the channel started to keep myself honest, and then what grew from that was really wanting to connect with people and really wanting to learn from everybody and having a community, which we have a great community, which obviously it does take up a ton of time because there's streams every night and every day, but there's definitely a community out there, and there are people that want to learn from me, so that's why I do it. I'm certainly on my end, I'm seeing that I'm getting messages from YouTube that there have been stream problems and things like that. So we'll have to see if that's something that's an in-stream issue or it's something that I can fix on my end. The audio is really not different than using StreamYard. So I have a feeling it's YouTube, and YouTube's going in from excellent connection to having issues and errors, but it should be good right now. Yes, I do know what you mean, Nathan. So it depends on what part you missed. So, Nathan, talking about, being alone with it, I didn't know that I was kind of a lone modeler, and getting to trust people and do modeling with other people has been a big step that I've been trying to take. And I show people my work and everything, but I still have a hard time having people jump in and help. I'm better at getting advice online and things, but so I'm trying to remember, and I don't know, Gopher Girl might be able to help with this. I don't remember exactly what was. I mean, I must have watching some of the earlier YouTube stuff with model trains. I must have I don't know how I dove in, but I dove in at some point with it. So how is there interruptions other than my stuttering? Are there interruptions for everybody else? Is it skipping? Gopher Girl says on her end it's skipping. YouTube's telling me that I've got excellent connection, that the stream is healthy. I don't show it stuttering on there or anything like that. Nathan, I'm in Minnesota. And I know you've been able to meet up with a bunch of YouTubers and stuff that live out that way. And I'm actually from New Jersey, and I grew up in New Jersey and moved out to Minnesota back in 2001. Ray, welcome in. Nice to see nice to hear you back at it with the podcast. Everybody out there, if you aren't aware, Around the Layout podcast is an interview style podcast. Ray is from the Northeast. Ray, are you in Massachusetts? And I never miss it. You learn a lot from folks from all around the world, from all different walks of the hobby, and it's a great podcast. So check that out. And so I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna try something with the new software. Give me a sec here. Let's see here. Well, I certainly can just do this. I was going to try, we'll do Let's get rid of that. And we'll do that. Yes. Yeah, I couldn't remember if I know you were Northeast, and it's a very active area for model railroading. I'm always jealous when I hear all the stuff that goes on in the Northeast. If you didn't know, Ray, when I went to grad school at Springfield College, which was right around the corner from the Eastern States Exhibition, and while I was there for the two and a half years I was there, not realizing it, I never went, and now I haven't been able to get back out there. So, you know, my interest in trains, my thing about trains was it always seemed like an escape to me. And so growing up, any chance I got to ride the trains, and I grew up in New Jersey, right between Philadelphia and New York. I used to go into New York all the time on the train, and that's why I'm actually modeling the Northeast Corridor. That's my inspiration, is what I grew up with. So, yeah, Mike, it would have been fun to have you here. I know that I'm always trying to get you to do clinics with our Twin Cities division and trying to connect that when I can. But one day we will get that connection going. Also, if those of you that don't know what Mike has been doing and what at least what's attracted me to his work is he's an artist, and rail artist is a very appropriate title for him with his work on and his artwork with trains is pretty amazing. So, no, Nathan, it doesn't stop you from doing anything. That's for sure. You're one of the premier builders among all of us on the YouTube, with your the trains you build are amazing, and if folks aren't aware of Nathan's work, you got to check out his work. He's just an amazing artist, and autism or not doesn't matter. An amazing artist, and I don't know if autism has a part in that, or if it's just, it was that artist inside. Doesn't matter. It's amazing stuff. So I always like to see updates from you, Nathan. And you're one, and you're also love that you're one of the most, for somebody who you were saying you were kind of alone and everything, you're one of the most social of us YouTubers out there, and we appreciate that. So, Mike, you've earned the typos. You can have as many typos as you want. If you were the presidente, then you were the presidente of the Twin Cities division. So, I'm officially no longer a officer in the Twin Cities division. I've actually I attended my first meeting in 2020 or 2021, whenever the pandemic, we were allowed back out of the house. I went to my first meeting, and I was kind of quiet there, and they were doing elections for for a director at large, and somebody nominated the new guy, and I didn't say no, and for 6 years I was on the board. So I told them, you know, I have to be off the board for a year and then I can run for another position, but I don't know if I will right now. I'm gonna enjoy spending most of my time modeling. Derail Daryl, it's been a while. Welcome in. Nice to have you in here. So I was just, you know, letting everybody know to let me know how audio and video is going. I've been using StreamYard to do these streams on YouTube, and they've squeezed the free plan to almost nothing left for us to be able to do. So I'm trying some different ones. So the one I'm trying tonight is Streamlabs Desktop. And so far, the only thing that seems to have gone wrong is there has been some stuff, but I think it's on YouTube's side with connection. But maybe that's the connection between the two. I'm not really sure. StreamYard wasn't easy to set up. Streamlabs wasn't easy to set up like StreamYard is. I talked about the program OBS, Streamlabs, and the other one I want to try, Prism, also use OBS as a base. So there's a bit of a learning curve there. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, at least the stream is on. It's looked pretty decent on my phone. Gopher Girl says there's been some problems on hers, and she's just in another room. So it may just be good old Verizon, potentially. But still looking good there. All right. And who else did I see come in? Oh, Split Rock, welcome in. Good evening. Nice to have you in and around. So I assume you you just recently got done with work. So that cushy job that you have. So you must have moved to your left or something, Gopher Girl, if it got better. It had one error on there, and I've never had YouTube Studio open really, because StreamYard kind of took care of things, and I didn't have to interact with YouTube Studio, but to turn the stream on and off, I have to use YouTube Studio. So that's where I could see the stream health and everything. Yeah. So I heard from some of you, Daryl, what have you been working on? And Split Rock, now that you got the sign done, what's your next project? Since you guys missed the top of the stream, Split Rock, you probably saw. Well, I don't know if I put these in, but I had gotten started on this and this kit, and then ran into a problem where I just didn't understand the directions and had things backwards, and so I had to tear it apart. And so now I got to clean these up. So I have to get the right file to get in here. I have nice small files that I actually got I've gotten 2 years in a row at our Twin Cities Division Christmas party, and I can get the files, and I'll get those files and get that file there, and then along here to get rid of that glue, and then re-glue on the correct way, and then get the railings on and get moving on this again. You know what's? It doesn't seem like these are painted, but they're saying that these are painted parts. So I mean, they just look like that's the color plastic they are. But what did they say these were painted already with? Scale coat paint, as they said that the kit was already painted. I'll have to look at some prototypes and stuff, but the main thing that I want to do with this is so I'll have to pick a road name for it probably and put that on with decals. But this car is going to be named after my grandfather, and I'll probably put his rank, his military rank. He was a private first class. He was an ambulance driver in World War II. But it's going to be a private car to put on back of an Amtrak train, because they do rent out the use of the back of their trains when they're traveling to certain locations. There people with private cars can latch their cars on and travel. So when I saw this kit, and this kit was $12, this was at Ron's Mundelein Hobbies in Mundelein, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. A really neat shop and nice guys there, and it was really cheap, and so for a kit, and so I went for it. So that's the next thing I'm working on, is I'm trying to psych myself to get back to the cab car and try and finish out the cab car. Well, yeah, that's something that's going to get in the way for sure. I hope that they caught it early enough, Daryl, that you're getting treatment on it, and hopefully you'll come out on the better end of that. So, and my dad died of cancer, and my mom can correct me if she's still on, or Gopher Girl can. I thought he had prostate cancer, but you can correct me if it was another type. And unfortunately, it spread to his brain, and then it was inoperable at that point. Yeah, Daryl, that's lucky. That's good, and hopefully they take care of it for you. I'm sure we could spend days talking about Mike's life here. It could have been. So okay, so the other cancer was separate. So anyway, there in my family, it's either going to be heart disease of some kind, or cancer, is what it seems like, from my family history. I know that's morbid to think about. Hopefully, I've been relatively healthy all my life. I've been very lucky that way. Haven't had to deal with a whole lot, although 52 now. So the brain's gone because I can't remember how old I am. And but the body's starting to go a little bit too. Things are starting to fall apart, and having to pick up after myself. Pick up parts of myself after myself. But I'm trying to focus on things like this, model railroading and family. And my family is very small. I have a brother and his family, an aunt and uncle, a couple cousins, my mom, Gopher Girl, and her family, all getting older though, and stuff. But so I do focus on them, and I focus on the modeling, and and then I have that stupid thing called a job that I have to go to every day, unfortunately. But yeah. So let me take a look at something here. So that's interesting. So on the stream, I don't know, I'm just trying to understand kind of the widgets and things that you're supposed to be able to have. Apparently I have something that I can see here where, based on your comments, there's little crowns and there's top fans, and I probably can give a shout out to top fans and stuff. I thought you'd be able to see that on the YouTube chat, but it looks like you can't. Anyway, I'm going to continue to play with these things to see how they work. Now, the other thing that I'll do, because these are all open source and they're based on OBS, which is open source software, which I already have, and I was trying to play around. If I get to understand these, and I'll have some basis where I can try that one, because even these have paid plans and things like that, so they could go away too. So Daryl, can you remind us what your you always have a layout behind you, what your layout is, what you model, even though you haven't been modeling it lately? And then maybe I'll start breathing in some of this glue here while we're talking. So, that PSA test, when my dad was alive, my dad was a pediatrician. I don't think he was necessarily a big fan of that test. I don't remember it was him, or it was just family talking about it, and it was that it could have some false positives and things like that. And so I didn't actually do it until I didn't have a choice, because it was taken, when the blood was taken, they did it recently. And the doctors weren't concerned, so I'll take that as a good sign. So I will be right back, and I'm just going to try this transition and see how that works. All right, and let me know, while I was on the transition, I dropped something. Let me know if it muted the microphone. StreamYard does that. I don't think Streamlabs does that, but interested to know if people heard what I dropped. Oh, okay. So as mine is. I guess I don't know if you can call it modern railroading for me, Daryl, because I was my prime time on the trains in the Northeast Corridor was the late 80s, early 90s. So not sure if not sure if you call that modern, but it's modern to me. It's Looking for one of these that'll fit in the slot to. Oop, that's a square. I just want to be able to find a place where I'm going to be able to run even a half of a commuter train some distance. My current setup, my current home doesn't have that luxury of space. So I'm looking to use modules to achieve what I can. So okay, so that seems to work. But hopefully I'll have space one day to do just even a decent size, even if it's a couple stations. And part of it is I'm doing this also with the AP certificates and the Master Model Railroader in mind. Hopefully I'll get there someday, but my goal is not to be number 1,000 or higher, but I don't know if I'll reach that goal. You know, but Daryl, the transitioner modelers are kind of getting older, and so I think you're getting into our generation now where it's past that, and what you and I would call modern. Those are the kind of things like Mike is doing, 1971. I would consider that modern. Not really modern, but again, in my time. Now, I was born in 72, so I wasn't around then. But that's when things were definitely diesel. So, yeah, it always seems like something you gotta plan some time for that layout. I know you spend a lot of time with your wife and everything, and I know you care for her and everything, and but you gotta try and get her into the model railroading. She can help you out with it. Wonder if there's anybody else out there lurking in the background. Come out and say hi. Maybe it's just the generation we hang out with, Split Rock, that's different. But if I think about all the conversations that are had that I see with the NMRA members and the curmudgeons out there, there's unless I'm just not surrounding myself with curmudgeons as much. The curmudgeons of the hobby don't seem to be as prevalent. Certainly not at our NMRA events. There are still those that model the you know, the Steam era stuff, and there are some young folks that do that too. So don't get me wrong on that. But there just seems to be, you know, the Steams the people seem to be in larger scales, older people who tend to be focusing on, you know, full Steam era layouts. You know, there's still lots of transition era layout folks out there that like to model both Steam and Diesel. And you know, don't tell anybody, but I'm not hating some of the old Diesel looks anymore like I did. I really was strictly modern, or modern in my time, but there's some I want to say that I've started to like the look of, I think it's E units. I'm going to get that wrong probably. I don't know if it's E or F units, but they're kind of still like streamlined and not as utilitarian as like a steam engine is. So you know, I think if my dad and I had a better relationship, as he worked on, in his spare time, he worked on antiques, as he and my mom are in the antique business, and then they got into the dollhouse miniature business. And I'll have to take pictures. I don't have the setup or the camera high enough to be able to show this, but he's done some work, and he did a room box inspired by me and my messiness. And I have that packed away. I got to bring that out and take some pictures and show you guys. And then my mom sent me some bookends that he did. And he actually got the figures from the Great Midwest Train Show many years ago. The one that's monthly in the Chicagoland area at the DuPage County Fairgrounds. It's one I've been back to a number of times. But he had gotten some figures there. Even though they were model railroad sized, and then used them in these bookends that are really neat. So I'll have to get all those out, take pictures so that I could show you on one of the streams. I know my mom wants to see them on the stream for sure. So yeah, by the way, Daryl, not only am I the model, I'm the perfected model because I'm second born. So they looked at all the errors they made making my brother, and they perfected it with me. Just saying. See if my mom's silent on that one. I know she's trolling us here in the stream. And Gopher Girl, I'm sure, has something to say about that because she's a firstborn in her family. So I don't think Matt watches the stream. I hope he doesn't, for at least for this case. But you know, I've been I'm hoping at some point we get out to visit my brother. He lives in Colorado, about an hour north of Denver. I've always wanted to go to the Colorado Model Railroad Museum, and I want to take my niece and nephew there. So one of these days I gotta try to get out there for that. Yeah, there she goes. So Twin Cities Division has a picnic this weekend. We don't tend to do modeling events we don't tend to do modeling events in the summer, and so we have a series of picnics and things as get-togethers and train watching and rail fanning and all that good stuff. So we have that coming up. I myself like the model railroading events. That's my favorite, to hang out with all the guys and girls and have them teach me how to do stuff, and hopefully I can teach them how to do some things too. Hey Ken, welcome in. How are you tonight? Just was mentioning the picnic tomorrow was happening, and yeah, we've had a lively discussions. So good night, Daryl. It was awesome to have you in here. Have you check in. Good luck with the health stuff. Keep us informed, and most importantly, get healthy. And have a good dinner. So I haven't gone to the picnics. I was just saying when he came on that when talking about the picnics, that I'm usually more into the actual model railroading stuff. Like, I never want to miss a skills day, a clinic. Modelers retreat's one of my favorites. But I don't always, I don't always make it to the picnics and stuff. So I always contemplate it. And so I will contemplate it tomorrow. But I don't know if I'll be there. I'll be working on getting this thing going back in the right direction. Because I blame the directions. They're the first kit that I've had actual problems with directions. I didn't necessarily always understand people complaining about Walther's directions and things like that. This is not Walther's, but it's written like you absolutely know everything about actual railroad cars and know what everything is and where it's located. And it doesn't have any pictures, and so that makes it hard for me. And as a result of trying to figure some stuff out, I actually missed putting a part in here that might have actually made these easier to glue on. And so I'm not going to pull those off to redo that. I'm just redoing the sides because that's kind of important to be able to do that. I probably didn't need that out. And so Ken, you've got to help me convince Mike. I've been working on Mike for like 2 years to try and get him to do some do a clinic for us in the Twin Cities division. So you got to help me out, get him to do that to show his art, because it's really amazing stuff. So this is gonna go in here, so I'll be able to glue that on. But it actually wants you to glue on these pieces first. So, like, apparently you gotta space it kind of right, I guess, and so you just gotta pick a spot and on here. So they want you to put these on first, this on first, and I think they wanted you to put this one on first too to square it up. I ended up putting this one on, but it was on the wrong side. Yep, and maybe we can convince him to convince him or commission him to do something official for the Twin Cities division, like, and get the logo on something, or, you know, that would be kind of neat. I don't know if you do that sort of thing, Real Artists, but that would be a neat thing. So, yep, and Mike, I'm also gonna hold you to that. You can also do it virtually. Again, it's not as fun to see maybe the art as the art would be much better in person, I think, but clinic might be neat. So, you know, but who do we have officially as the clinic person now? Is that I'll have to hit him up so that he can, when he's planning clinics and stuff. Oh, I better make sure I have this right. This is going to be this way and this way. And don't know how square I'm going to get this. It's okay if it's a little lower because of that, because again, it has room for the windows already in there. Let's see here. I think it is. That's what I was trying to. I just talked to, on Messenger, I just talked to Greg, and I could not come up with his name. And that I blame my mom for. That's a thing I get from my mom, where the person I'm currently talking about, I can't ever remember. But yeah, Greg is the one. So we'll have to get something moving on that. So it should be flat enough. So I don't want to guess this, but I'm gonna have to try and guess it. I don't know if it necessarily matters exactly. You're old, Splirak? How old are you? I don't know how I'm going to get this squared up, but I guess we could do something like that somehow. With my shaky hands, I'm not sure how I'm going to make that work, but let's see. Let's see if I can get any glue out of this. I don't know if I can. No, not gonna be able to get glue out of this little guy anymore. Try not to take my fingers off here. No, that's glued pretty shut, I think. Maybe. Let's try that again. So that's going to be out. Nope, it will not work. So we're going to try this glue. And we will do this. Work smarter, Dan, not harder. If I can do this with one hand. Nope, I'm gonna lose my grip. That wasn't. I'm left-handed. I don't know why I'm doing this on the right side, just to make things more difficult for myself. Let's see. That, and of course it falls right over. Let's see. This glue, I was having trouble doing this with this type of glue, so I might have to go back to the super glue, but it is definitely more brittle, and this does not look square to me. See, there's something else I could try to use. Bring that up because I move it. So now you get to see me struggle with this. Yay me. Hold that for a second on there. Let's share again. Try little bit more. It's still kind of moving on me. And let's see if we can get that to stay now. Let's see. I don't know if that's a big enough jig, I guess you would call it. I don't know what you'd call it. But let's see if that stays on for us. So there was one bonus about work this week is I got my hands on a couple of stir sticks from, because there's like 3 of us in the office and there's a ton of coffee making supplies and stuff, so I may have a stir stick or 2 for use. Also, when the in-laws were here, I knew when Gopher Girl's father comes around, he's always wanting to do stuff. He doesn't like to sit still. So I said I might need some stir sticks from that. They look pretty good scale for HO scale. And sure enough, I see him the next day, and he's got a pocket full of them for me. And he even tried to buy them off of the hotel that they were staying at. It was a valiant effort. They said no, but they said take as much as you want, basically. And so he did. And so I have stir sticks till the cows come home, and so those actually are close to scale, where the ones from work are not scale lumber. But all right, well, I got the window open and everything, but I'm breathing in some glue, so I'm gonna I got some ice cream that's got my name on it, still in the freezer waiting for me. I want to say I appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out with me, and working through these things I'm trying with the stream. I could just do a really bare bones minimum kind of production stream. I think everybody would be happy with that, but I would like it to look a little professional, a little nice, and so that's why I'm trying these different possibilities, software possibilities, to make it look better and a little more professional looking. So I appreciate you sticking with me. As always, remember to just jump in and and try something new. You never know, you may pick up on something you never thought you would even be part of or enjoy, but just keep trying stuff. It's to spice up your life a little bit. But everybody have a good night and a good weekend. And again, I appreciate all of you being in here with me. Have a good night, folks.